Fact, the Adidas Copa 18.1 is the worst selling of the top end models within the 4 main lines from the Adidas brand right now. Fact, the Adidas Copa 18.1 is the only one of those top end models that does not come with a string bag. My point, string bags equal sales. I don't know how Adidas doesn't know this yet. What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com bringing you my review plus on-feet video of a boot that I don't think gets enough attention because it is legitimately that good. The Adidas Copa 18.1 in the brand new Energy Mode Pack colorway, launched just in time for the 2018 World Cup, even though I don't think a single pro participating in the World Cup is actually going to be wearing them because Adidas doesn't give these pretty much any marketing attention anymore for whatever reason. Anyways, these are really good. This is a very unique colorway, and we're gonna go over all the details of this very underrated boot in today's video. So if you wanna learn more about them, including how they fit and feel on feet, please stick around. And if you're interested in a pair for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $200 retail price. If you guys do end up enjoying the video, don't forget to support it with a like. And if you're new here watching for the first time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. Included with the boots is this box, and inside the box you get space to put stuff in the box. You also get these little strips of leather that match the color of the boots. Obviously it has the Copa branding, and then it's just raw leather on the back. I'm not exactly sure what you're supposed to do with these, but you get them, but no string bag. Leather strips, but no string bag. So starting off with this very bright Energy Mode Pack colorway, the first two things that I thought when I saw these was, one, they're pretty cool looking, and two, they don't really look like the type of color that people who would be interested in the Copa 18.1 would actually want. I feel like most people that would be interested in this shoe would either want them in white with black accents or black with white accents, or at least something along those lines, not necessarily neon pink with neon yellow, which is essentially what these are. These also really remind me of the Hyper Punch Volt colorway that we got from Nike in the 2014 World Cup, which you can see I have here in the form of a Superfly 4. Not saying this is a copy or anything like that, but that is immediately what I thought of when I saw this particular colorway. As obnoxiously bright as these are, I actually do like the way that they look. The solar red base for the shoe is really dependent on the lighting as far as how it's going to look. Sometimes it can look more red, sometimes it can look more orange, sometimes it can even look a little bit pink. So it really does depend on the lighting situation. You have that for the laces as well. You have the Adidas stripes in black that have this kind of rainbow reflectiveness to it. You have this super cheap material here that I just don't like the look of. You have it on every Copa 18.1. Kind of looks like worn out sweatpants, but it's in the two accenting colors of solar red and solar yellow. And then this extended flap that I think just looks really strange. But then if you try to fold it down, which is pretty much impossible to get it to stay, it looks even more strange. So you're kind of just left leaving it up. At least that's what I do. Some people cut them off. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing that, not only because it voids your warranty, but also because this is all elasticated material. There's some fuse here covering up a stitch as well. So I'm not sure long term how the shoes would hold up if you cut this tongue off. Either way, you have some more solar yellow accents here at the back, which I think look quite good. The entire liner and insole is solar yellow as well. And then the sole plate, as you can see, has this Copa branding as well as this graphic that's within the plastic itself. So it's not a wearable finish like you'll find on some of the other top-end models from the Adidas brand. And overall, I just think the Copa 18.1, this element aside, is a really clean looking boot, especially in this colorway. If you're looking for a super bright Copa 18.1, this is probably one that you want to consider, but let me know what you guys think of the look down below in the comments. Now, like I mentioned at the start of the video, I really feel like the Copa 18.1 does not get the attention that it deserves because it is legitimately a very good boot. Now, going back several years now, from 2010 to 2014-15, the leather F50 Adizero, while that was a thing, was extremely popular. People loved the idea of having something that was as light as a speed boot with soft leather for the sake of touch as well as overall comfort. And that is essentially what we're getting here with the Copa 18.1. In fact, you're actually getting the exact same sprint frame construction, a slightly different stud pattern in regards to the shape of the studs, but the layout is identical to those older F50 Adi Zeros. Plus, you're getting better leather quality and more of it. Kangaroo leather versus calfskin leather, which is significantly softer. It's reinforced now with an internal support cage, making these more responsive than any of those leather F50s ever were. And you get leather through the entire midfoot as well with a one-piece construction that wraps your foot really nicely. This is the best leather lightweight speed boot, if you want to call it that. I know it's a Copa and calling it a speed boot kind of seems weird, but this is better than any of those leather F50s ever were, but for some reason people don't care about it. To be more specific in regards to the leather, all the parts that look like leather are leather on this particular shoe. So you have kangaroo leather spanning the entire midfoot on the lateral side, wrapping all the way through the forefoot and toe box area. You have a seam right here on the medial side, and then the rest of the midfoot is filled in with kangaroo leather as well. It's relatively thin, but it still has that softness and very flexible sensation, especially after a few wears. It breaks in really, really nicely. And then it has an internal support cage through the forefoot area just to reinforce that part of the shoe. Obviously, it eliminates the need for stitching, and honestly, it makes for a very locked in, more responsive sensation than I think you might expect from this style of boot. Now, of course, it is kind of more traditional with its kangaroo leather upper, but it does have a one-piece enclosure. So it uses a dual lace hole system, which again makes these much more responsive than a more traditional leather shoe would be with single lace holes and a regular tongue. The only issue is, again, this tongue. I don't care for the way that it looks, but honestly, it feels perfectly fine. It's this elasticated material that does look cheap, admittedly, but it feels quite good, with this extension piece at the front that I personally just leave up. It's not something that you feel or really notice when you're playing in the shoes at all, just something that you kind of have to get used to if it's something that bothers you at first. But other than that one little thing, everything about this shoe I think is really good. It's got a standard low cut, which I think is fitting for this style of shoe, especially if we are going to categorize this as a speed boot, which technically it's not, but it kind of is if we're comparing it to older leather F50s like I have been doing. Then you have a really nice synthetic suede liner with some extra padding here on the sides of the ankles. Lockdown is really good. It's not a super tight fit through the heel, but it's secure enough to where slippage is not an issue whatsoever. The insole is fully removable. I'll give you guys a quick look at that. It features a synthetic suede lining on top, and it's actually an ortholite material, which is different from all the other top-end models within the Adidas brand. I'd actually go as far as to say that this is better than any of the other insoles they use right now, but for some reason it's only featured on their least popular top-end model. Don't ask me why. And then of course you have the sole plate and stud pattern, which does include the one-piece heel counter. This is a Sprintframe sole plate like we used to see on the older F50 Adi Zeros. In fact, this is actually the closest thing to those F50 Adi Zeros as far as construction is concerned when compared to all the other Sprintframe variations on offer from Adidas right now. It makes for a very flexible sensation. It gets more flexible as you wear them in. Plus, this is an FG-AG stud pattern with these conical studs that, as far as traction is concerned, again, pretty much on par, if not better, than most of those older F50 Adi Zero models with the leather upper variations, just because the studs are fairly narrow in profile despite being rounded, which is kind of viewed as more traditional. They dig into the ground quite nicely and provide more bite than I think you might expect. And because you have a sprint frame construction, the shoe is also very light. In a size 9.5 US, these guys weigh in at 7.7 ounces. So they're up a little bit in regards to weight when compared to some of those older F50s, but the weight difference isn't overly significant, especially considering that you get more leather and better quality leather all in a package that only retails for 200 bucks. So the fact that these aren't popular is really a true shame. So as you can see, I swapped out the stock solar red laces for some wide neon yellow reflective SR4U replacement laces. I like the look of the wide laces on this particular shoe given the kind of more old school styling. Plus the neon yellow with the reflective bits just accent really nicely with the neon yellow you already have on the shoes. It just makes them look that little bit different. If you are interested in a pair of SR4U replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen as well as a link down below in the description. So if you're interested in a pair, be sure to go ahead and check that out. On feet, the Copa 18.1 is super comfortable out of the box, but that shouldn't be too surprising. It's a full kangaroo leather upper. The leather's only going to get softer as you break them in, but honestly, out of the box, they're nice and soft, very flexible. The sprint frame has good flexibility to it as well, so there's really no restriction there. Again, the only thing that kind of bothers me about this shoe is this little extension piece that for the first few wears, you will notice it kind of rubbing the front of your leg right here. But honestly, you forget about it almost entirely while you're playing. It's not something that really gets in the way at all whatsoever. As far as the leather and the fit is concerned, because it is leather, they will stretch over time. So if they feel a little bit snug out of the box, that's kind of how you want them to fit, because they will expand as you wear them in. You don't necessarily want them to be too big, because then they could overstretch. That's the case with pretty much any leather shoe. I never had any issues with these overstretching. The internal support gauge seems to do a really good job of holding your foot securely in place, even after the shoes have broken in and stretched a little bit. So as far as width is concerned, I think these are going to be suitable for most people without any issues at all. Plus, I love the fact that it does have a one-piece upper. You don't have any overlapping materials, and the tongue's not going to move around on you because it doesn't actually have a tongue to move. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9.5 US. My feet are about a 9.25, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So in conclusion, the Copa 18.1 really is a very underrated boot. If you're looking for something that has a true leather feel in regards to touch as well as overall comfort, you get it with the Copa 18.1. Not to mention, it's also very lightweight, so it does have that speed boot vibe about it as well, offers great traction, plus it's a really good value with a $200 retail price versus $225 plus that you're gonna pay for just about any other top-end model out there right now. So in terms of value for money for a top-end model at full retail, it's one of the better values out there. Now, it's pretty well known on this channel that my personal favorite boot at the moment is the Nike Tiempo Legend 7 Elite. I really like leather shoes in general, but if I'm being 100% honest, I would be just as happy to wear the Copa 18.1 as I would to wear the Tiempo Legend 7 Elite. They're both excellent shoes. They're different in their own ways, but as far as the overall final product is concerned, it's really difficult to say that one is better than the other. If I'm picking based on preference, I prefer the Legends, but I really think that these are just as good. More so just something a little bit different on offer. Again, if you're a fan of those older F50 Adi Zeros, that is basically what you have here, reincarnated in the form of what is now called the Copa 18.1. Anyways, guys, that is it for my review. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to support it with a like. Again, if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $200 retail price. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to ask them down below in the comments, and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. Other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. As always, thanks for watching.